Hello and welcome again to Rin Reads. Once again, we are going to be looking at one of my favorite Canadian authors, Martyn Godfrey, and this is It Seemed Like a Good Idea at the Time. This was another book that my grade 4 teacher had read to us aloud in class, and it's hilarious. Well, at least I thought it was hilarious, and it has continued to be one of my favorite books of all time. It brings back so many good memories. I have reread this book over and over and over again. It's a really quick read. I think it's only just over 100 pages. Yeah, so it's like 113 pages. Can read it like a little over an hour, I think. Maybe less. I don't actually time it, but it goes by really fast. What to say about this book? Well, first off, this is not the cover that I'm used to. I was actually surprised when I got this one in the mail when I ordered it. I think I got it off eBay. It was a library discard of some sort. And I had never seen this cover before. So this was a new cover. I think it's a re-release of the cover. Originally, the book came out... So 1987 is when the book was originally released, and this is a 1995 printing. So this is a new printing of it. The one I know is a slightly larger size, and it's purple, and the scene on the front is when, I think it's when Michael opens the door to Joanne's boyfriend, which doesn't make sense to you, but it makes sense to me. So I don't care though, what's inside is the same. So I know I'm saying so, and I guess I'm just really trying to figure out how to portray how much I love this book. This is probably the first book in a cross-dressing storyline that really caught my interest. Well, the first book that I ever had read that ever had a cross-dressing plot line, and from then on it's one of my favorite plots. I like all of kind of the chaos and instances that a cross-dressing plotline creates. So what happens in It Seems Like a Good Idea at the Time, Michael has just moved from Buffalo to Edmonton, which yay, I loved because once again, from Alberta, Edmonton's a place that I knew. So that really caught my attention when I first started reading it. So Michael moves to Edmonton. There's 2 weeks till the end of school, and so his parents decide not to register him to school. Chris and Donnie come and meet him, and they convince him to help them get this story for the newspaper. Judy Turner is the most popular girl at school. They want him to pretend to be a girl, to go undercover at the girls' party and report back on what happens at this year-end girls' party. The boys want to know what happens at a girls' party, and the girls that aren't popular enough to be Judy Turner's friends want to know what Judy Turner and her friends are up to, is kind of how they do this. And Donnie basically convinces Michael to do it because he says that he'll make Michael an editor on the paper the next fall. Michael hesitantly agrees to do it, and his sister Joanna, or Jojo, helps him transform into Michelle, his twin sister. So Jojo is a crazy heavy metal loving teenage girl who has weird piercings, wears weird jewelry, does crazy things with her hair, and wears weird punk clothing, which her dad just is having a hard time coping with. So there's all of this stuff, family dynamics going on that's really chaotic and kind of fun. And then you have this cross-dressing plot line, which is kind of chaotic and fun. So Michael introduces himself as Michelle to Judy, and then later on, they meet up at West Edmonton Mall, which also one of my favorite places on earth. And the way that they describe West Edmonton Mall in this book is the West Edmonton Mall of my childhood. And so it's really nostalgic for me to read that West Edmonton Mall because it's not the same today. Yes, they still have the water park. They still have the amusement park. They still have the ice palace, but no longer do the Edmonton Oilers practice at West Edmonton Mall, which is something they used to do. And in the sea life area, there's no longer dolphins. The dolphins, I think, died, and now they have sea lions. I don't think I saw flamingos there the last couple times I was up there. They changed around, like one of my favorite fountains when I was a kid doesn't exist. Well, they still have the whale, but the fountain that the whale was a part of no longer exists. It's just the whale statue. So, and the band shell, they don't have really a band shell anymore. There is an area outside of what used to be an HMV. I'm not sure what's in there. Might be a Sunrise Records. So I think that there are still sometimes performances or things because it's a very large area, but they don't actually have like a band shell. So really nostalgic that it's the classic West Edmonton Mall of my childhood that I knew. Oh, and the Fantasyland Hotel with their themed rooms. That also comes up in here. So West Edmonton Mall was this magical place for me as a child, and it's brought up in this book. So I think that's another reason why I really love this book. Anyways, he ends up bumping into Judy at the mall as Michael and ends up totally falling for her. So he really likes her and is now not sure. So it kind of goes into, should he do it? Then Donnie convinces him to do it by telling him a lie. Michael sees Judy with another boy, and Donnie says that it's another boy she likes when really it's her cousin. So the interaction he sees in a wrong light when Judy actually really does like him. So Judy figures out what's going on. Michael ends up going to the party as Michelle. The girls know, and they play a bunch of tricks on him. So they spray their hair different colors and change it to spray paint for Michael. They put eyebrow paste on, and when they get to Michael, they get a new tube because it ran out, but it's really hair remover cream. So they play all of these kind of like tricks on him, and Judy has made arrangement with Donnie to now sell him the story of what they did to Michael, all the tricks they played on Michael. So then you have this storyline with Donnie realizing that Michael's his friend, and so he doesn't submit that story. He ends up writing a story on friendship. Judy and Michael are able to work their issues out, which is really nice. And of course, at the end of the book, they're kind of quasi-dating. I think the thing that I really enjoy and find humorous about this book, like the cross-dressing isn't really like the funny part. It leads to funny interactions, but I just like the chaos. There's this one scene where their mom comes back from West Edmonton Mall and is telling them all about the mall, tells Michael that she got him this shirt with a goose on it, and ends up saying that the Skull Beaters are playing at West Edmonton Mall, which Joanne is then super excited. So now you have Mom super excited about West Edmonton Mall, Michael who's not so impressed about this purple shirt with a green goose on it, and Joe who's freaking out about this concert with the Skull Beaters. And all three of them are talking at the same time, and it's like the most chaotic scene, and that's probably my favorite chapter of the whole book, is this shirt with a goose on it. I think that's even what it's called. Just a second, I have to look up the chapter name because I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. A Purple Goose, that's what it's called. So chapter 8 is probably my favorite chapter. Anyways, once again, it's just a really fun nostalgic read. If you can somehow get your hands on this book, I highly recommend reading it. It's fun. I mean, I then went on to read lots of other things like there's a bunch of like manga that have cross-dressing plot lines that I got into, and it just I think it's funny. it's exciting when it's done because somebody's doing it for one reason and then gets put in these awkward predicaments. So anyways, it seemed like a good idea at the time. I'm really excited I have one more Martyn Godfrey book that I can read prior to getting the rest of my Teeny Wonderfuls. And so it's The Day the Sky Exploded. Also known, it was originally titled The Van Darien Incident. And I'm pretty sure once again, it was my grade 4 teacher that read this to me. I'm pretty sure that when this was read to me, it was called The Van Darien Incident. So I'm really hoping that eventually one day I can get the book under that title, that original release. But we'll just have to wait and see. So I'm excited to reread this. This was probably one of my first sci-fi books as a child. Once again, I think it's only around 90 pages. 106. So there you go. So it'll be a quick, easy read. And another Martyn Godfrey. I loved his writing. And I think, incidentally, this is his first book that he ever published. So I'm looking forward to going and looking at that. I hope you have enjoyed this and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye. Quick update about the cover that I just realized. You know how I talked about how I knew a different cover? So this is an Avon Flair book, and it says, it seemed like a good idea at the time, was originally published in Canada, which is probably that bigger purple cover that I know, but has never before appeared in book form in the United States. So it looks like the 1987 copyright is when it was first published in Canada, and then in 95, Avon Flair picked up the book and it was re-released in the United States for the first time. So that's probably where the different book cover came from. Anyways, I thought that was an interesting tidbit that it took from 87 to 95. So almost 10 years to get into the American market. Anyways, there you go. Had to add it.